Hello everybody, it's Mark Rivera back with another comic book haul video, so let's get to it. Now, before I begin, this is going to be a different type of haul video. It's not going to be comic book per se, but once you see, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But before I begin, I want to get a very quick shout out to my friend Greg out at Urban Legend Comics in Brandon, Florida. He's a big reason why I'm doing this video, and I'll get more into it, what these are. But I want to give a shout out to his. There's his card. Alright. So, he ended up getting in an interesting little collection of, we'll say, books. And he posted a picture of one of them, and I was like, that's really neat. I'm really much interested in the book. He actually had another one, but he sold it. But then there was other books that came in with these books, and he sent me pictures of them. I said, what do you want for everything? He quoted me a price. I took it, and so this is where we're at. So this is going to kind of dabble into what we would call pulp magazine science fiction books a little bit. There is kind of technically one comic book, I guess you would say, in this collection, but the big thing is about these books are from the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, and then there's one book that's from the 60s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show these books starting from the newest to the oldest. So with that being said, here we go. This is Amazing Stories, Volume 40, Issue number 2, and this is from October of 1965. This is by far the newest book. Now, if anybody doesn't know what pulp fiction books are, they're pretty much what comic books used to be before they came more picture-oriented. You know, with artwork and stuff, and then your little word bubbles and whatnot. So when those weren't around, these were the next best things, per se. So yeah, so this is the newest book of the lot. So and then let's see here. Then we have something called Little Big Books. Now these books are gonna vary in, you know, sizes per se. So then we're gonna move into Little Big, something called what does it say? They're like Little Big Books. I think that's what they are. The Better Little Books, I guess. So a lot of this stuff is gonna center around like Buck Rogers and whatnot. So that's just getting my years in order. So this would be the next one. This is Buck Rogers in the Super Dwarf of Space. This is out of all these, this is the only one that's actually listed as a comic on the border. So I should have had a darn comic book out, and I didn't think to grab. Well, I got one. Well, I'll share this in another whole video. So this is your typical Silver Age bag and board. Okay, and this is how big these little books are. So just give you some reference. All right, so this one is Buck Rogers in the 25th century and the Super Dwarf of Space. And this one actually says All Picture Comics. So this is the only one that actually has the word comics on it. And this is from 1943. That's like, I think, a series number in these books. They made tons of these. So when this is, a lot of this stuff is all you had at one point. You didn't really have comic books, even though comic books were out about this time. So now this one, I don't know if they taped over the cover or whatnot, but I just couldn't leave this. Also, when you open up like books like these, especially in this book, so there'll be dialogue on one page and there'll be a picture on the other, and then it goes that way through succession through this book. So this is from 1943. And then we got another one from 1943. This is actually a really cool cover. Buck Rogers, The 25th Century, The Fiend of Space. Check out this cover. See, it's the Better Little Book. That's what they're called. Look at that artwork on the back. 1943, people. And then we have another Buck Rogers. This is Buck Rogers in the 25th Century and the Overturned World. And this is from 1941. Alright, and then this will be the last book from the 1940s era. So now, you know, like this is 41, so you're talking about pre-involvement in the Second World War. So all these books will be pre-involvement going forward from the Second World War. So remember, when the war started, a lot of comics, a lot of books were destroyed for the war effort. So we have Astonishing Science Fiction, Volume 25, Issue 3, and this is from July of this is from, yeah, oh no, I'm sorry, it's from May 1940. Here's your little book, so you get another size reference. This is obviously a bigger book. Again, one of these pulp, you know, magazines, pulp fiction magazines, or what do you want to call them. There's tape here. Oh, you can see it. Yeah, this is really neat. This is really neat stuff, especially looking through the ads and stuff. Is really, really cool. Alright, so we're leaving the 40s, now we're going into the 30s, guys. Should I have these in order? Like in recollect, but I didn't. Just bear with me a second, guys. I didn't have these in order. I don't know why I didn't do that. Alright, so okay, good. So we've got another one of those, the Better Little Book, Buck Rogers, and the War with Planet Venus. Like I said, that one little book I showed was the only one that actually had comic written on it. And it actually is. Like I said, most of these books were, you would open them up, and the one side would be just dialogue, and the other side would just be pictures. So every time you opened up the book, dialogue, other side pictures. So yeah, I had to put these like in modern age Mylars or whatever. So yeah, 1938. I'll leave this one here. So then we have another, a lot of these are going to be Buck Rogers, so I'm just letting you know. Buck Rogers and the Planetoid Plot. This is a really cool cover. This is from 1936. So now you're talking about, because 38 would be the beginning of the golden age. So even though these are not true comic books to what we would accept them to be, there were actually a line of comics done called Famous Funnies. So those were the only real comics at the time. So 1936. And then here we go, another Buck Rogers, Doomed Comet, 1935. Look at the artwork. This is a really cool cover. Buck Rogers and the Depth Men of Jupiter. Then another Buck Rogers. This is a really cool cover too. Buck Rogers on the Moons of Saturn. '34. Another 1934, Buck Rogers in the City Below the Sea. '34. And then we have Buck Rogers in the, this is another big little book. It's just another Buck Rogers, and I don't know what this is. Buck Rogers. '33. There was one book I forgot to show. Darn it, I forgot these. So here's one. This is a big thick book. The Adventures of Buck Rogers. So these are all new stories. This one's called The Big Book, the big book. And this is from 1934. My battery's about to die on the phone. Then we have Amazing Stories, Volume 8, Issue number 10. This is from February of 34. Check that out. That is actually part of the artwork. It looks like it's stained or something. Trust me. '34. Now we're getting into the 20s. We have Science Wonder Stories. This is from September of 1929. This is from the Volume 1 series, Issue 4. And then we have another Amazing Stories, Volume 3, Issue 12, and this is from 1929. So these are some pretty cool pre-Golden Age, I guess, books. But, you know, I just thought this was pretty neat. I jumped on them. You just don't see stuff like that these days. A lot of this stuff was destroyed for the war effort, don't forget. So to find books from this time period, and these books are pushing a century already. So you got to keep that in mind. But, yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I thought it was a pretty neat find. I got these for a really good price. And, yeah, I'm thinking about doing another video this weekend, too, with some other stuff I picked up. But, guys, we're really close to 325 subscribers. We're, like, within, like, 7 or 8. Let's help get me there. Put out the word. You know, like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you guys again the next time.